That's what I said to your mother, right before I gave it to her.
Modi and Magni, the two demigod sons of Thor, are more powerful than you think. In this video, with the help of Edgar, we will break down the strongest feats of these characters and put it in perspective for you. Before we begin, if you have a God of War theory, message me on Twitter or on Instagram. I'll be responding to you over time on both platforms. You guys responded really well to the God of War trivia in my previous video. So today's question will be, which Greek god keeps his wife chained in a room during Kratos' attack on Olympus? Type your answers now in the comment section at the end of the video. Reply to yourself to see if you got it right. But let's get right into it. Let's start with their weapons. Magni's sword isn't an ordinary sword, as Sindri says. It holds cyclones within it.
Magni's strong, really strong. Carries a huge sword hardened by cyclonic thunder.
His sword seems to be infused with cyclonic thunder, which explains the properties of a lot of his moves he used during the fight, which is honestly super cool. I wonder what Modi's weapon is made out of. Is it made out of pure lightning? Can it power an entire city?
And Modi? Ugh. I'd sooner lick a rat than shake that dung heap's hand. His mason shields are just a cheap knockoff of my elegant work on their dad's hammer.
So Magni gets a sick weapon and Modi gets a Mjolnir knockoff. This is a trend with Modi. Even though he is super strong, he's just a really disappointing person. He doesn't even get respect, not even from his own brother. Also, he's kind of a creep.
Well, if we find him, I'll get the kid, right? What is the matter with you?
This is the first time I'm noticing this myself, but after the Modi Magni fight, Atreus even calls Modi a creep in his journal. Like, you can't make this up, he's actually a creep. So what else could they do? Well, when they were mere children, they together lifted a giant that fell on Thor. Thor couldn't lift the giant because he was in a daze. Mimir mentioned that no one in the court was strong enough to lift the giant. The court is most likely filled with the head of the Aesir like Odin and Balder, and the other high gods. Along came the sons of Thor, still kids, and they both lift the giant, freeing their father.
Well, what happened after Hrungnir fell slain upon Thor was that nobody in the court could get the stone body off of him. Thor was no use at this point, his brain rattled, his breath shallow, but none of Odin's men were nearly strong enough to help. Then entered little Magni and Modi, no taller than shrubs, and while nobody but myself was looking, they flipped over Hrungnir's corpse and freed their father. Magni, being the blonder, got all the credit, and Modi remained bitter about it from that day to the end.
Which means the pair together were strong enough to do something none of the higher gods could have done. None of them. Most likely, their strength is the reason why Balder recruited them to hunt down both Kratos and Atreus. Now yes, Magni is super cool, but let's talk about Modi, god of being a creep. Even though he had a rough upcoming, being in the shadow of his brother's popularity, he by himself is very durable. Kratos was in fact holding back the entire game, but Modi, even for a little bit, held him down with lightning. Even though Kratos was holding back the entire game, he still had some amazing feats, like flipping over Tyr's temple and forcing open realm tears, but Modi was still able to hold him down for a little bit, which is actually very impressive. Using his own power, Kratos was hurt and immobilized. You at least have to give him credit. He also took Kratos' punch like a goddamn champ. He also took one hell of a beating from Thor and was still standing on his own 2 feet. Although he did collapse one last time, he did get up. And this is very inspirational because he once again got up to fulfill his purpose in life, which was to crack one final joke about Atreus' mom, which you gotta admit is still pretty damn funny. Before I give my final thoughts, the answer to the trivia question was Poseidon's wife. If you got it right, congratulations. You actually are very smart when it comes to God of War. When it comes down to it, Modi and Magni, even though they have a lot of faults, they together are one of the strongest pairs in Asgard. They, in the real mythology, go on to accomplish great things. They survive Ragnarok and create the new world that's upcoming. I say that they're just behind Baldur when it comes to strength, as Kratos did say that Baldur was one of the most powerful figures he had ever faced in battle. Modi and Magni are not the strongest enemies Kratos has ever faced, but they are pretty damn strong. So they are probably in third place when it comes to all the gods in Asgard. Right behind Thor and Baldur are Modi and Magni, and these characters are stronger than you actually thought. Let me know what you think about Modi and Magni, their character, their strength. I'd love to talk to you all in the comment section down below. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces.